So, ladies and gentlemen, you just quite simply can't make it up. You cannot make it up. As many of us know, Brandon Bean was just addressing the media a couple of minutes ago, and the biggest bombshell was that out of two of our free agency acquisitions, Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt, they both have received a 6-game suspension from the NFL for violating the PED policy across the league. Now, this is unheard of. It's really weird. Like, do I think like, oh no, our season's over before it begins? No, that's a knee-jerk reaction. It's kind of silly when you think about it. But it does upset me significantly because I heard that Michael Hoyt, it was known that before signing that he was going to be receiving a 6-game suspension. But you know what? Whatever. He is on a 3-year deal. He's going to be fresh going midway through the season. That's completely fine. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Larry Ogunjobi, who signed a 1-year deal for us, $10 million. We essentially ended up signing Larry Ogunjobi to play for us for about half a year. For about half a year, dude. And what makes it even worse, holy hell, let me go ahead and fix it out real fast. And what makes it even worse, folks, is the fact that we didn't even know that Larry Ogunjobi was facing a 6-game suspension for the use of PEDs last year in 2024. Don't you think that that sort of information should be legally released, especially to potential buyers? I understand, right? Because an agent and a player, they likely have a very similar attorney-client privilege sort of relationship. I totally get that. But at the same time, I think that at least for the buyer, I think that you should know what sort of baggage is associated with a prospect before the agent in good conscience or in good faith allows him to sign with said organization. It's very similar to like when you buy a house, right? Like there is an inspection like prior to you closing on the property, where it gives that sort of protection to the buyer. How the NFL has not established anything like that, especially in cases such as this, is almost unheard of. I was completely unaware that that information was not legally supposed to be released prior to any sort of free agency signings. This might be the first time I have ever heard it for the past couple of years when I have began covering the NFL and also the Buffalo Bills by itself. Weird. Absolutely shocking, ladies and gentlemen, that we have both of these guys in a 6-game suspension. Well, let me tell you something, okay? Do not be surprised on Sunday or Saturday when we hear that the Buffalo Bills and Von Miller are reuniting, all right, for a veteran minimum 1-year deal. Because, wow, ladies and gents, a defensive tackle that we picked up and then also an edge rusher are not going to be available for the first 6 games. And then also we have Jesse come in and saying maybe they can help Bosa stay healthy. And watch, dude, you know what? It's just Bills fans' luck. Like Bosa's going to go out there and pull a hammy or something along those lines. I'm just kidding. I'm absolutely just kidding on that one. But it's pretty intriguing. Josh is absolutely cursed. Da Vinci's Demons is coming in. If you let them go for much, they cost you. Bills 716. If the Bills didn't know, then we should be able to either void the contract or get cap space back for the 6 games he will miss. So I'm still waiting on the specifics, of course, for Larry Ogunjobi. If, for example, it's largely salary based and salary incentivized based off of time playing, then we could save a little bit of money. But I forgot how much money he was guaranteed. It's just wild. It's like one of those situations where you just look at it and you're like, how in the hell does this happen to us, right? Not 1, but 2 recent signings are suspended for 6 games. I'm not so much upset about the Michael Hoyt situation because he's under contract for 3 years and he's 27, right? And largely he's our utility piece. He's like a chess piece for this defense. But the Larry Ogunjobi thing, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, that's not information that should be made like readily available prior to signing. I feel like the agent should have put that out there, right? Like, as I ended up making that overall comparison to an inspection prior to when you close on a house. But I mean, hey, is what it is, folks. Listen, we got the draft. Looks like our priorities are shifting back to a Kenneth Grant or a Derek Harmon. I'm just kidding. Probably not. But anyway, we did see Brandon Beane hit the podium a bit earlier where we uncovered quite a bit. This was the biggest piece of news, hence why I wanted to discuss with everybody. We also heard that it sounds like that we're probably not going to be going for the Asante Samuels of the world. We're probably not planning on adding to our secondary via free agency much, at least anymore, or at least like massive names like Julian Blackmon, etc. And we are just going exclusively over to the draft. But this shit, this bullshit, I had to go live. I had to go live, man. There was no way. My third stream of the day, I had to come live and chop it up with everybody. So they knew about this suspended since last week. Only Michael Hoecht. So according to Brandon Beane, we did not know about Larry Ogunjobi until after we had already signed him. Straight from the horse's mouth. 6 games. Wow, that's almost half of the season. Look, it's not the Michael Hoecht thing that's really like just getting me right now. Has everything to do with the Larry Ogunjobi thing. I'm like, damn, dude, like that agent, like I can't hate on the guy, right? If he's not legally required to release that information, why in the hell would you do that? Because that agent's also looking for a payday, very much like that overall player. What happened? I just chimed in. So, Carl, we just learned that 2 free agents that we signed just 2 days ago are both going to be suspended for 6 games apiece for violating PED violations from last year. Now, Michael Hoecht, we knew, like right before we signed him, but Larry Ogunjobi, we did not know that he was going to have a 6-game suspension, all right, until after we signed him, which is the craziest thing. And Ogunjobi plays half for $8 million. Hey, listen, I better see some crazy-ass production from my boy Larry. Like, Larry better be going off toward the back half of the season. Let me tell you what. I have respect for him because they disclosed the information to the team prior to signing. Listen, with Michael Hoecht, that's absolutely incredible. But so with the Larry Ogunjobi thing, holy hell. Bring back Vaughn. He is a good speaker. Listen, it's funny because I feel like half of this chat right now, we all correctly predicted that Dane Jackson was going to be signed, although that it was a reluctant prediction. Don't be surprised on Sunday once we see breaking news that the Buffalo Bills are reuniting with Von Miller on a veteran minimum 1-year deal. Do not be surprised about that because we need to have an answer right now for the lack of edge rusher that we have on the roster, at least for about 6 games. Give me my money back, Big Baller Bean. I mean, shit. And for some reason, I feel like it's already too late. Bro, Dan, if you call some BS one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. You wished Dane Jackson upon us. Dude, listen, I am so sorry about that. It's probably my fault. Michael Hoecht, I understand. Just watch his interview. But Larry Ogunjobi, I don't understand. Yeah. Look, guys, I am just as shocked as each and every single one of you when I learned that we were not made aware of his suspension until after signing him. Like that's some Buffalo Bill shit right there. Like that is Billsy stuff right there, folks. I don't think Ogunjobi had put pen to paper yet. Maybe they don't, and then give Vaughn $2 million and sign Samuel Jr. Like based off of the sentiment I got from Brandon Beane, and this is obviously just me assuming at this point, I have a feeling that we're gonna ride out and we're just gonna wait for Ogunjobi to come back. Look at the last tweet of Spot Track. Let's see. Oh man, listen, I like that. Hold up. Okay, let's take a look. Per his pending 6-game suspension for PEDs new, Michael Hoecht will forfeit $1 million in base salary, $293,000 of signing bonus, $180K of per game bonus. $1.47 million in total has been saved. Also, barring specific language in his new contract, his 2025 and 2026 base salaries will no longer be guaranteed. Okay, so we have the ramifications for Michael Hoecht. Now I'm waiting for once Spot Track ends up releasing what we see from Larry Ogunjobi. That's what I want to see. That is precisely what I want to see, ladies and gentlemen. 532 of you in here rocking with me right now. 294 on YouTube, 223 on X. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Dan Mitchell. I go live all the time, anytime that there is breaking Buffalo Bills news and or NFL news that I find relevant. So make sure when you subscribe, just make sure you turn on those bell notifications because my content is really centralized, incorporating the live chat, engaging with you guys. So certainly go on ahead and introduce yourself in the live chat if you are new. Welcome to the family. Why did we bring back Damar Hamlin, Matt Winters? I really wish I had an answer for you, brother. I really wish I had an answer for you. I don't think that Damar is a bad player. I thought that he was serviceable last year, but I wanted to upgrade from him. I can tell you he's a good special teamer. Like, dude's a very good special teams player. So maybe, but time will tell. But time will tell. I have a feeling that next year when it comes into our safety room, we might be running with a Cole Bishop and a Taylor Rapp safety tandem because that's what we were doing toward the back half of the season. And then if not, I also think that we might be targeting a specific safety in the NFL drafts. Look for a Nick Emenwari. He potentially could be a game-changing pick for us. Rosie Bain, Vaughn better be on his P's and Q's this offseason. He can't get suspended too. Well, Vaughn is not on the team currently, but don't be surprised if we see some sort of reunion with him on a vet minimum deal coming in on Saturday or Sunday. And that is just me. Oh, my God. At least there's two players that should be fresh for the playoffs. You know what, man? That right there is how you look at the glass half full, Big Papa Bill. I feel like people should take a page out of Big Papa Bill's book, baby. I like that. PEDs, performance enhancement drugs. Thank you for bringing light to that acronym. Changes, you the man, baby. You the man. So expect the Bills to take back some from Larry's contract. I'm waiting on the specifics for Spot Track. I'm waiting on our boy to update what the Larry Ogunjobi situation looks like. I'm not sure how much was guaranteed. with Larry Ogunjobi, but say, for example, that we can see something similar of what we saw for Mike Hoecht, then I will be a happy man. There you go. Let's get that visual right here. Dan, turn on Larry's presser. Oh, shit, he's on? He's on, man. We want to talk to you, Larry. Talk to me, Larry.
The organization handled it, masterfully. They welcomed me with open arms. They understood the situation. They've treated me with nothing but open arms in class. And I couldn't be more excited to, get on that field and, support my team and this organization when my suspension is lifted.
But the Bills sort of honoring their word, the verbal agreement. I presume you had a verbal agreement, and the Bills, didn't back out of that.
No, we found out kind of around the same time, they, like I said, they handled it masterfully, and I'm very appreciative. I can express my gratitude.
And so, gotta be honest, dude. Bro is jacked, dude. Like, bro is clearly juicing. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's a joke. And they can't take away from his whole year was guaranteed.
I don't really know the exact specifics per se, but it was just right. Pretty much when we were negotiating, that's pretty much when we were finalizing things. And that's kind of when I got the information. We brought the information to them. They had a decision to make, and I'm still here. So.
Action with like anybody on the Bills coaching staff? You ever cross paths with McDermott, or what? Do you know people here? Was there any connection there?
Well, me and Dion combine trained together. So I've known Dion for years. He's a special guy. So I've known Dion. I know Damar. I've met Ed a couple of times. Shaq when he was here. Dirty Red, he came to Pittsburgh. So I've heard nothing but good things about Buffalo, and like I said, I'm excited to be part of this community, this organization, and I'm just looking forward to getting started.
To clarify, Brandon said that maybe you were still waiting to hear back on more testing. Is that just to clarify what happened, or can you talk us through that?
Probably to clarify what happened, but once again, I think the best thing to do is just to accept it. accept the suspension and not have to do a whole bunch of running around. Because at the end of the day, it's my obligation to know what I put in my body, even if it's a tainted supplement. It's still my responsibility to know, and you gotta deal with the consequences. And that's me dealing with the consequences. There's no way to. A lot of times you kind of run around and try to figure.
It's Larry Juice and Joey, dude. Yo, someone drop some merch on that shit.
More honest to just.
All right. You know what? I'm bored. I'm bored with this. Okay. So Larry Ogunjobi, based off of a couple of questions we just heard that he answered, it sounds like that he had a verbal agreement with the Buffalo Bills. That is when he decided to tell them, or that is when he told them, and they still elected to sign him for the deal. Straight out of his mouth. But he said when they were interested, they had no idea, but then he told them, blah, 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 is what it is. Larry Juice and Joby, my friend, damn. Let's be real. Let's be real, though. 90% of the NFL is on PEDs, for sure. It's just about who gets caught and who doesn't, baby. Did the Bills know this when they signed them? So Michael Hoecht, yes. And then Larry Ogunjobi, they did not know prior to giving him a verbal agreement, right? Because that Larry Ogunjobi pick was prior to the actual free agency period, was during the legal tampering period. I guess according to him, they said, okay, man, we're going to sign you once the new league year starts. Then he told them, and the Bills elected to sign him to the deal and put pen to paper regardless. So the Bills didn't know about Larry Ogunjobi. They could have pulled out because pen wasn't to paper yet, but they elected to put him on contract anyway. And then Michael Hoecht, same exact situation. But that was known before they even gave a verbal offer in the first place. That is what we're talking about. Bro is talking like he's got the bag and doesn't really care. I may be a bit too judgmental, but this is ridiculous. Needles the cheeks. Damn, brother. It's probably HGH. Damn. I suppose then it's the Bills' fault then. Dominic Bean is a joke. I wouldn't say that, Dominic. I wouldn't say that, Dom. Josh Allen's enhancing drug is from Haley Steinfeld. I ain't going to say that. Oh, damn. Cole, it's not April Fool's Day yet, is it? Surprisingly, no, it's not. But it certainly feels like that. Rookies will have to get us through the first 6 games. Drafting 10 players is not out of the realm now, in my opinion. I feel like we might be walking away with more than just 5 or 6 roster-making prospects. That is for damn sure. It looks like our rookies are going to get some good snaps early season. Absolutely. Bean wants attitude and convicts. I mean, hey, listen, like, let's just look at the past couple of Super Bowl champions, baby. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs have, bar none, the most arrests in the NFL for the past 10 years. How many Lombardis they have? How many Lombardis they have? Maybe you do need a little criminal, like right in your locker room, to really find success. So are we going to sign a DT in free agency for insurance, or are we going straight to the draft? So remember, we still have Dwayne Carter on this roster. We still have Daquan Jones. We still have Ed Oliver. I'm going to have to look at the roster as of right now. But like, we have like 5 players outside of Ogunjobi still. So I think that we'll probably end up going with a draft prospect. It just depends on which one that we ultimately end up going with. Mr. J Blonde is coming in, and I really appreciate that super chat, man. So what the hell do we do for the first 6 weeks of the season? Better for Grant in the draft now. So we still have Daquan Jones, right? Worst case scenario, say that we're desperate, so we bring back our good old friend Jordan Phillips. We bring back our good old friend Jordan Phillips on a deal until he's ready to come back or something along those lines. And or we plug and play a Kenneth Grant, a Derek Harmon, a Tyleek Williams, a variety of other defensive tackles that I would be open into getting once it is all said and done. That could be it. And then Evan, I'm so sorry for missing the super chat from earlier, man. I was obviously on a roll. I don't think that Ogunjobi has put pen to paper yet. Maybe they don't, and then give Vaughn $2 million and sign Asante Samuel Jr. I mean, it's funny because it sounds like that we've added a couple of mil right to potential spend, but changes. And the good news is that they found this out before the draft. True, right? I think the best time to find out like would have been while we were at the negotiation table. But the second best time to find out, right now. All right. Right now is the second best time to find out, and we'll take it. Roy, yes. Tag You're It is saying, I was around for wide right. Why does this not surprise me? Hey, man, listen, you know what? Who knows what's going on? Like, did we like build the stadium on an Indian burial ground or something like that? Like, I have a question for the people. Okay. Like maybe so across the street so we could be okay. Kevin Grant in the draft, and if he's still there, get Tyleek too. Double down on the defensive tackle position is what we're looking for. They need to be specific with what the PED they use is, because a SARM is completely different than something like Tren or other gear. A long time ago, caffeine was considered a PED. Interesting. I'm very intrigued to see what the PED was, my friend. What are the rules? I'm guessing it won't affect training camp, so they'll play a ton of snaps in preseason. Once the season starts, can they practice, meetings, or total ban? Anybody know? Normally, I believe that they can't even be at the facility. I think they can't even be at the facility, but I do think that they can be at training camp. Moshe is saying, can they get out of Ogunjobi? It sounds like the Bills have no intention of doing so, based off of his current press conference. Now get Groot juicy and let's win a damn bowl. Man, Larry, oh my God. Larry Ogunjuicy, baby. Larry Ogunjuicy about to go out there and wreak havoc in 2025, boys. You have no idea. I feel like that joke was too soon. But it's funny. I'm just glad that we are not the only team grabbing off-season storylines we couldn't handle anymore. What did they actually get popped for? They both got popped for PEDs. I don't know which specific ones, but they did. I'm starting to get Sabres vibe about this team this year. I hope not. Holy shit. We are 100% taking defensive tackle in the first round. Can't even count in our free agents. Brian is saying now we can get fresh players at the end of the season. Listen, man, that is a solid half glass full way to look at all of this. It really is, and I really appreciate that. I need that positive energy in my life. Nothing wrong with a little extra test and some Anavert. I mean, listen. So your boy puts a couple of units of TRT in my left ass cheek every Monday morning, but I'm not out on the gridiron. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get really jacked. That's it. Habitual line stepper. How you doing? Nah, they can't be at the facilities. Moshe is saying because they know that we will beat the Chiefs. Andy is coming in and saying, hey, Daquan won't be there much longer, so why not get Tyleek Williams and Grant? I was able to get them both in my mock drafts, LOL. So I like both of those prospects. I really, really do. But there are some really good defensive tackles in the 4th or the 5th that I would also be sort of okay with getting. Like love a Deion Walker in the 4th or the 5th round. He's a fridge of a man. He's like 6'6", has a great size profile. I also like a Jordan Phillips as well. He's like a late 3rd and early 4th sort of guy. I would be fine if, for example, we went with Kenneth Grant and then waited a couple of rounds and then grab one of those players I just mentioned if they could fall. Yo, Dan, what do you grade our overall free agency if you try to be unbiased? Well, prior to these two criminals, I'm just kidding. Prior to these dudes getting suspended 6 games apiece, I had us at a B. Now, a C? Maybe. Yeah. My free agency grades have shifted a tad, if you will. Hey, coach, what up, dude? How you doing, man? Can still go 12-6. That's a feminine overshare. Me? And for putting testosterone like in me? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Facepalm, noob, habitual is saying, LMAO, Dan is hilarious. It's definitely the best at cracking jokes off the fly. How is your subscription count not rising? Because I'd say I'm a pretty controversial character, so across Bills Mafia, I am an acquired taste for sure, but it doesn't matter because I love the people that rock with me. Think we go CB in the first? All right, listen, there are so many high-quality prospects in the first and the second that I have been battling back and forth with getting, and there's a couple of players that I'd be fine with. Damn, brother. We need Grant. I would be completely fine with that. What the hell, Dan? Have these guys never heard of an oil change? There's way of beating those tests. That's what I'm talking about, man. So many of these guys did not grow up in the early 2000s, and it shows. Hey, Coach, I was just wondering if there were any DBs that you could see us going for in the first. Be well, my guy. I would be fine with trading up for the likes of a Jahdae Barron. Would be absolutely sick. I love Maxwell Harrison, but like he's more of like a second round guy as well. And Emin Wari, safety out of South Carolina, would be absolutely insane. So I've been on TRT for 7 years. Game changer. It's insane. Sean, what's up, Sean? How you doing? Hope all is well. Brian, he said 12-6. Get it 6. Oh my God. Oh my God. Honestly, what do you think is the weight for the Benford extension? We just can't afford it. Like right now is probably like my best guess. I think we go DT in the first. Hopefully Grant falls. 1 Kenneth Grant, 2 Maxwell Harrison, 3 Isaiah Bond. I would be completely fine. Bill 716, trade up for James Pierce Jr. We have I am taking Carradine and would get suspended by the NFL. I mean, hey, look, dude, we are not in the NFL, which is great. Any DTS you thinking we might snag in the first? My favorites are Kenneth Grant and Derek Harmon. And those are just guys that I think are realistic of falling to us. Say, for example, we trade up. I'd say it'd be like no higher than 20. And if that's the case, I think both of those guys would be there. In all honesty, how much does this hurt our squad in the beginning of the season? I mean, it's basically the same defensive line that we ran last year, minus Vaughn Miller, but with Joey Bosa. So you still have Daquan Jones out there, right? And while he didn't play as good as he had in the past, he's like nowhere near a liability or anything like that. But I do think that it does sort of shift what we're looking for. It shifts a tad what we are looking for in the draft, or specifically when we can, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We have Lizard-born Dan. I went to a bunch of Kentucky football games. I live there, and it is hard to tell if Hairston is good, in my opinion, but I also don't trust him because Kentucky was frustratingly ass last season. Interesting. Great take. From somebody that witnessed it with his own eyes, Hairston is the dude. Benford wants to bet on himself. He doesn't have the awards and name recognition that a top 5 CB, which he deserves. He wants another season to really get a true payday. I hope that's the case. I am okay with the DT in the first. Get Eddie O, a long-term partner to wreak havoc. Alexander, what do you think about getting Asante Samuel Jr.? He was on top of my lists for this free agency, but like based off of what Bean was saying, and granted, like we don't want to take him like word for word of what that's looking like, but I just don't see us doing it. Dan, Kenneth Grant is there at 30 in all my drafts. Get me excited, bro. You know how much I want Kenneth Grant. Dwayne Carter season 2 is going to hit like crack. Injected in my veins. Wow. Look at that. Dan, Kenneth Grant is there at 30 in all my drafts. Speak it into existence. So if we can't extend Benford, and do you believe free agency signing hurts us? No, because still like Joey Bosa. And so, of course, that he can stay healthy. I still like Josh Palmer. So I still like Forrest as well, our safety as well. And I think that we probably will be signing a couple of more like camp bodies that have an opportunity of making this roster. 369 of you in here on YouTube right now, guys. Just do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And giant shout out to William Mattar, folks. If you were ever hurt in a car, you better call William Mattar. #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. I would not wish a car accident on anybody, even my haters, all right? Because it's a serious situation. And if you find yourself in that situation, I highly recommend that you get yourself the #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. Hurt in a car, call William Mattar. Thank you so much for sponsoring this channel, Will. You the man. Dan, why do you skip my question? Andy Van Meer. All right, man. Listen, sincerest apologies, dude. I know that you are on Facebook, but I'm also streaming on YouTube, and the live chat on YouTube is absolutely insane right now. Like, I am seeing, it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's very difficult for me to get to everybody like right in the live chat. So do me a favor, copy and paste it, and I will be looking for it next. What is your question, Andy? Happy to answer this for you. We have Josh Allen. We will be fine. Thank you, Andy. That is another glass half full approach that I genuinely appreciate. Too crispy. It's only 6 games, brother. Game 7 will be like a trade deadline haul. We are good. Woo! Man, I love that. Are there any good one-tech defensive tackles that would be good value at 56 and or 62 if we don't get one at 30? Let's take a look, shall we? PFF big board. Because I do want to double check, and mock drafts, like Roy pointed out, is absolutely accurate. A lot of the times they are very off as far as where a specific player is going to fall. But here are a couple of names that I find intriguing. So right as you can see, you have Mason Graham at number 1, have Kenneth Grant as the second best defensive tackle. Then you have Derek Harmon. I think all 3 of these guys are going in the first. All 3 of them likely will go in the first if you were to ask me. Then you start getting into the second round. I like Darius Alexander. If I'm a gambling man, I have a feeling that he's going to be going in the second. Walter Nolan could potentially sneak into the first round as well. I have seen a lot of people have him skyrocket on his draft boards. I don't think he's specifically a fit for us. He's not really a true one tech, but here we are. And then here are some of my other favorites. I like Tyleik Williams a lot out of Ohio State. I do think that he could be an option for us in the second round. I do. 6'3", he's 327 pounds, solid big body right in the middle of the line. I think he would transition very well. Have Alfred Collins. He has actually met with the Buffalo Bills. I'm not saying that he would be my favorite prospect, but it sounds like the Buffalo Bills are certainly growing a liking to him. I like this guy right here in Joshua Farmer. This is a guy that has also indeed been speaking with the Buffalo Bills at 6'3", 318 pounds. I want him to gain a little bit more weight, but I would also be intrigued with this guy. And then Jordan Phillips as well, out of Maryland. Not our Jordan Phillips, a different Phillips and a younger Phillips. So as far as late second round targets, Farmer, Phillips, and then also Alfred Collins and perhaps Tyleik Williams. However, I think Tyleik Williams, we'd have to trade up slightly in the second for it to be a possibility. Evan, I really want to know that too. Where's Evan? All right, Steve is coming in. And do you think we will keep Cook? Yeah, we will. He's under contract. He is under contract. And Andy, do me a favor and copy and paste your question, and I'm happy to get into it. Here you go. I hear the Eagles are working to trade Bryce Huff, and he is only 27. Would you trade Epinesa and a pick or 2 for him? No. So I think that Bryce Huff was just a situation where he flourished in a particular system. Like last year when he was on the Philadelphia Eagles, like he was a healthy scratch toward the back half of the season. I definitely wouldn't trade any sort of draft compensation. And I wouldn't even trade the AJ Epinesa for him either. Because likely, like based off of how the Eagles treated him toward the back half of the season of not even activating him during specific games, I have a feeling that he might be a release sooner rather than later. So say that we were like really wanting Bryce Huff, then yeah, I don't know. Being new about pending suspensions before they sign pen to paper. Sarah, I just got here. What the hell happened? Did they just test positive? And does it allow us to rip up both? It does not. It does not. All right. So both of them were known to have these suspensions prior to pen to paper. But Larry Ogunjobi, they verbally committed to Larry Ogunjobi. Then he told them, then the Bills elected to still just go on ahead and sign the contract in general. So it was known, but Michael Hoecht let it be known prior to the verbal commitment, and Larry Ogunjobi had a verbal commitment, then told them, and the Bills elected to sign him anyway. That is what I am gathering. Charles, I think the Patriots put curses on every other AFC East team whenever they had their dynasty. They sold every AFC East team's souls. Lewis is coming in saying, I love Roundtable. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. That is a company I've been working very hard on for the past 2 or 3 years, and I'm glad that we're able to entertain you. We are trying to be the next up and coming internet sports company. So I appreciate everybody that rocks with Roundtable shows and brands. Dan, and do you think we're cooked after about a 6-day suspension? It sucks. It's definitely annoying, right? It's definitely annoying that had happened. But no, I don't think we're cooked. I feel like we're fine. We have Too Crispy. Huff is definitely going to get busted for crack with a name like that. And knowing our luck, come on. Does the 6-game suspension mean all of the preseason and 6 actual games? So I think that they are still welcome to participate in training camp and in preseason, but they can't even be anywhere near their facility for these 6 games of the season. So they can't practice with the team during the season. They can still get reps during the preseason. And as somebody pointed out, it's almost going to be exclusively like we ended up having a trade deadline haul for both of those dudes coming back at about week 7. Okay, all right, let's talk about it. If we don't extend Benford, we don't have a number 1 DB. In that case, we would double dip on DB to start on our defense. What do you think? So he's still under contract this year, so he's going to be out there. He's going to be CB1 for us. So the problem with not extending Benford this offseason is that his market value of $22 million on Spot Track is more than likely going to look closer to about $30 million. But like we had a lot of players that had to be extended, right? So that's kind of where I'm looking at. Took Darian Porter at 62. I would love Darian Porter as well. He's a very speedy wide receiver. That's effing crazy if he actually knew. Talk about making yourself look desperate. Damn, man. 796 y'all in here. 364 of you have joined me. But all right, guys, listen, I just wanted to hop in real fast and talk about this very strange breaking news. I feel like this is one of my most unique live streams because I haven't covered anything like this in the past. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are new here, I highly recommend turning on bell notifications when you subscribe because I am live first all the time when breaking news happens with the Buffalo Bills. If you want to talk about breaking news the second that it happens or shortly after it happens, I highly recommend that you turn on the bell notifications when you subscribe to the channel because as you can see, I like really going to the live chat and hearing everybody's thoughts. It's basically me just talking ball with my friends. So highly recommend that, guys. I hope all of you enjoy your weekend. Enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Be safe. Make good decisions. Don't go out and get too blasted. Yeah. And more than likely, I will see you tomorrow during the morning for yet another topic stream. Love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. And we will see you sometime tomorrow, I would imagine.